Hurts, O.J. Howard, Evan Ingram. In this particular, I mean, do y'all have a different top five? Does it kind of match up, who y'all probably look for when y'all go to draft and some of these positions? Is this kind of match up with y'all, or are y'all looking at somebody that's not here, or somebody that's – what y'all think about this top five? Kevin, go.
Oh, damn, I get to go first. Holy crap. Some of them I agree with. Like I would put Tyreek Hill still up in the top five, because not only does he get points from the receivers and everything, but he also returns kicks.
Right.
And that's one big thing you look at. If you got a guy that returns punts and stuff like that, especially as well as he does, you get those little extra points thrown in. So I would go with him. I think they got Mike Thomas just too low. The man's had more catches in the first 2 years of his career than any other person ever in the league. And you're going to put him below some of these guys. I don't see it. I think Baker Mayfield's too high on the list. I know that everybody's freaking out because he got Odell Beckham, but two knuckleheads don't make a good tandem. You know what I mean? So they just got to make sure that it's going to be level-headed before I go, okay, Baker's going to be up there. Tight end, the big hidden one, Delaney Walker. The Titans are going to be relying on him a heck of a lot, and he's been going really late in a lot of fantasy drafts. And I think he's just going way under the radar.
Okay. Mike, about you? What do you think about this list?
So, I mean, I think as far as like the Baker Mayfield thing that stands out for me, I mean, I think he's too high, but I don't necessarily believe it's just Odell Beckham, but it's also Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry has had 110 catches the past 2 years. So when you're talking about completions and moving down the field, Jarvis Landry's going to get those for you. So when you don't have Odell Beckham open, or if he's double teamed, you've got that guy to rely on. And then you've got a big body in David Njoku. So although I think that Baker Mayfield is going to have a decent fantasy season, I think he's too high on there. I think they need to put Breeze on there. You cannot leave Breeze off of that, with who he spreads the ball out to. If you've got Kamara that high and you've got Michael Thomas in the top five, why would Breeze not be there? So I think Breeze should be there. Deshaun Watson just lost one of his best pass protectors in Lamar Miller. So who's to say what's going to end up happening with him? So one person I don't think you can ever count out, because he always flies under the radar as far as like these rankings go. But Phillip Rivers, I think is going to. He's always consistent, 4,000 plus yards. Even without Keenan Allen, he's supposed to have Keenan Allen back week 1. Uh-huh. So when you've got him, granted Melvin Gordon is out, but what's his name? Austin Eckler should be able to produce as well. So I think that offense in San Diego is going to give the Chargers a run for the money. And personally, I don't feel that Patrick Mahomes is going to have a year like he had last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, Tyreek Hill is there, but for those first 8 games or so, he had Kareem Hunt, and Kareem Hunt was a baller. Now you've got Williams back there, and you've got the likes of Carlos Hyde. But Carlos Hyde, he comes in and plays. He's just a north-south type of guy. So when you have Kareem Hunt that can catch the ball out of the backfield and bail Patrick Mahomes out a couple times, then that makes more of a dynamic offense. So their offense changes a little bit. I think people are going to zero in on Travis Kelce. So I think Travis Kelce is still the number one that's out there. But I don't know. I wouldn't sleep necessarily on a full season of Rodgers and Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham could make a comeback here.
Oh, yeah. Then I'm looking over here at George Kittle. He actually get a competent quarterback, at least the one that was better than that he had. He can spend on his season that he had last year. Then I look at the list here. I do think Baker Mayfield is too high. I get the allure of having Beckham and Jarvis Landry on the team. But I just feel like, like someone just mentioned, Mike just mentioned, like Drew Brees should be on this list. I just don't see how you just take Baker Mayfield over Drew Brees. But, some people probably explain that pick. But
and another guy that gets shitted on a lot playing quarterback is Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
It don't matter who he's throwing the ball to. He's still going to put up points, and he's still going to put up yards. because they throw the ball 937 times. And Ben and Juju are going to have a huge year. And we all seen what happens in Pittsburgh. They draft some unknown dude or bring him in to play wide receiver, and then what happens? He turns into Juju. He turns into Juju.
It's always that number 2 guy that slides up to make like a number 1 impression and then takes over number 1 at some time. So I would be looking at who in Pittsburgh, who's going to be their number 2 if Juju's number 1, because that guy's going to be a quiet guy that's going to end up getting numbers.
And James Conner at running back for Pittsburgh. Oh, Lord have mercy. The bad part is I was going to keep him in our league, but the bad part was he got hurt at the end of the year, so I had to drop him to beat Cortez in the championship game. So I had to pick up. So I'm going to bring it up as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I had to get his backup, who was Samuels, who then ran for 100-something yards in that game too. Ridiculous. So putting anybody in that system in Pittsburgh,
absolutely,
it's nuts.
Well, look at the AFC North. The AFC North, granted, Cleveland's got a decent defense, but Cincinnati, I think Cincinnati's going to be at the bottom. Baltimore, they just lost. They just lost the last piece of their big reign of defense, and that was Terrell Suggs coming out here to Arizona. So, by losing him and you lose the captain of your defense, I feel like Baltimore's defense is kind of in a rebuild mode overall. They lost C.J. Mosley too, so it's like when you're looking at strategy, you're looking at what defenses are these quarterbacks going to go against? If I could say, 2 out of the 3 teams that are in the division are going to be average, like I kind of disagree with Baltimore's defense being that high. But
that's why you don't draft a quarterback out of the AFC South,
right? Outside of you wouldn't. I wouldn't. And then look at how high they have Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. He's gonna get killed by Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, that is crazy. All right,
and people are gonna laugh because if we talk about the AFC South, the biggest pickup, I would say, picking out of the AFC South is the Jaguars' defense. I think they literally are going to go back to how they were the year before. The addition of Josh Allen, the sack numbers are going to go up. So you're going to get points there, and I think they're going to create more turnovers because their back end now in the safeties is younger and quicker, and mind you, they don't have the experience of those guys. But hey, when you got the 2 corners that they have and that defensive front, oh Lord, have mercy. If they suck again, I'm going to be mad.
No, they should. I think they go back to 2017 numbers in 2017.
Yeah, if they hit 2017 defense again, it's going to be scary.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, let's move on to the next question here. So when it comes to a little bit of strategy, how you approach the draft, what ways do y'all try to, do what y'all do, make the magic work in the fantasy draft? And I'll start with Mike. Well, what's some of your, not to give away all your secrets, but some of the things that you kind of particularly try to key on and tell people to kind of give them some pointers and what to look for.
So in particular, let's just take like my favorite team is the Detroit Lions. Now they're garbage, right? We know that they are garbage. So guess what? I'm targeting players like Aaron Rodgers, or if I want a sleeper, I might actually target Mitch Trubisky, because Mitch Trubisky he showed that, second half of the season last year, he wasn't really all that bad, and he plays the Lions twice. So I look at the divisions, I look at those type of matchups that happen and kind of like see where they may fall to give me better position players like a wide receiver. If I can sacrifice a Drew Brees and get another, great wide receiver and then end up getting a consistent quarterback later in the draft, then I might do that rather than just go with the home run ball with the big name. And also as an example, like for this year in one of my main leagues, I have the number 4 pick overall in the first round. So I'm looking at Barkley, I'm looking at Kamara, I'm looking at McCaffrey, and I'm looking at Zeke if he signs his contract. If not, then I'm throwing somebody up there like maybe Le'Veon Bell. I look at those schedules and I'm like, where's the outside of the division type schedules? Kamara's got to play the Bears outside of his schedule, so that's going to be difficult. There's a couple difficult matchups within there. to the point to where I'm looking at personally like Christian McCaffrey, because I can't lose with any of those top 4. Right. So I kind of look at, well, now, Cam Newton being hurt, well, guess what? If his ankle doesn't progress the way it should, that offense is going to rely on Christian McCaffrey a lot more. So I look at the opportunity at hand. I look at the teams, both offense and defense, to see who's going to be on the field longer. If Christian McCaffrey is going to get more reps on the field, then hey, that might be somebody that I'm going to target over everybody. Even if I had a number like the number 1, I might take McCaffrey over all those other guys. I think that with the Giants, I think Saquon Barkley is going to produce, but would I even take him at number 4 if he fell? Probably not, because stack 8 in the box, what's going to end up happening? They don't have anybody at wide receiver outside of Golden Tate right now. Sterling Shepard's just coming back, but Golden Tate's gone for 4 games. So there's going to be 4 games where right then and there, Saquon Barkley is going to be completely like the center of attention, and that's going to take away from his fantasy production.
All right, Kevin, your thoughts on how your strategy or how you approach the fantasy draft?
I always like the first 3 rounds are always key to me because I watch people. I know who I'm targeting and everything, but I watch what's happening around me. And then when you see people do stupid crap around you, you know that later on you're going to be able to get some good players because people are doing stupid crap around you. So it's always first 3 rounds. I either want to get 2 receivers and a running back, or 2 running backs and a good receiver. And usually in the first 3 rounds, you can get solid right off the bat, right there. And then come round 4, depending on what stupidity has happened around me, I kind of look and see, is there another high-tiered running back or receiver there? And then you always look at the bye weeks, because that's where some people get completely screwed up, is they don't look at the bye weeks, and then everybody has bye week 9. And then on week 9, I get to kill somebody. But it's just you have to go in with your own plan, but you got to plan about the stupidity amongst everybody else in the group. And if people start going stupid, then you're going to have a good day. And you just got to go and you just got to monitor everything.
Gotcha. A little bit of my strategy, I always try to just keep up on the headlines and especially preseason, because you kind of like try to figure out where can you find a gem at, and you just kind of just read the headlines and figure out, well, who can I get. So I remember last draft I kind of drafted Phillip Lindsay, and I got him for like the last pick. And I'm just gonna store him just in case something happens. I know we got me being a Broncos fan, I know we got Royce Freeman, so I'm just gonna stash him. And someone already done drafted Royce Freeman like pretty much early because he was projected to go about like round 5 or round 6 last year. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to start stash him, see what happens. And having him and Zeke and pretty much ran the table. He was literally like one of my, surprises. So it was just like this guy was a great pickup. So I just try to make sure, there's been like some kind of buzz that people's been talking about in the preseason as far as like a player. And, just kind of just stash them a little bit. You never know what could happen as far as like as a slot or a quarterback. So I really just try to stay active on what's out there. But as far as like to the draft itself as well, I do look at, I'm big on the running back position for me. I just like where they kind of get near the end zone. I try to figure out which running back can get a lot of touches. So I kind of, make sure that me personally, I always try to get like a running back first. Even other drafts that, I don't have a keeper league, I always try to go with a running back first. And then I look for, if it's a PPR league, then I go, for some slots or some receivers and see which way I can take that way. So I just try to make sure I fill those positions first. And then whoever is slipping that tight end, if I need a tight end, I think that's going to sneak up on somebody, I try to take a risk there sometimes and grab like a real top-notch tight end because those are valuable as well. And that's kind of like how I would, try to approach my strategy when it comes to fantasy football, at least a draft. Question to you both: when is the right round to draft a quarterback? And I go with Kevin.
Like I said, when I'm doing it, I watch and see what other people are doing. If other people are starting to snatch people, I always wait till later. because